Yeah, good morning, dear participants and esteemed speakers. I welcome all to our T.E.I Educational Initiative, Young Professional Group Online CV Building and LinkedIn Navigation Program. I am thrilled to have such a diverse and talented group of individuals gathered here today, united by a shared goal of enhancing our professional profiles and leveraging the power of LinkedIn. In today's digital age, having a strong CV and compelling LinkedIn profile are very essential tools for navigating the professional landscape. This program is designed to provide you with comprehensive guidance on both fronts, equipping you with the knowledge and strategies to stand out in your respective fields. Throughout the sessions, you will have the opportunity to learn from industry experts who will share valuable insights on CV optimization, personal branding, networking on LinkedIn, and leveraging digital platforms for career growth. To our esteemed speakers, we would like to express our appreciation for you taking time out of your hectic schedule to come speak with us and share your knowledge and experiences. Your guidance will undoubtedly empower our participants to create impactful CVs and build meaningful connections on LinkedIn. I encourage all participants to actively engage in discussions, ask questions, and apply the knowledge gained to enhance your professional presence online. Together, let's embark on this journey of learning and development. Thank you for joining us today. Let's make this program a stepping stone towards achieving our career aspirations and professional success. Let's zoom straight to our first session. Ladies and gentlemen, it is my honor to introduce our first speaker for today, Mr. Mwankosiao Adi, who is the Human Resource and Recruitment Professional, Headhunter, and Data Analyst. He is a results-oriented recruitment executive with years of experience in recruitment procedures, proven ability to excel in high-pressure, fast-paced environments, delivering top-notch service, exceptional listening, communication, and negotiation skills, fostering positive interactions at all organizational levels. Today, he will be sharing and providing valuable insights, as well as strategies that we can all apply to enhance our CVs to land that future job we seek for. With further ado, please join me in welcoming Mr. Amwakosiao Adi. We are eager to learn from his expertise and experiences. Please give him a warm round of applause.
Okay, good morning, everyone, and thank you, Kwabna, for the introduction. I'm very happy to be part of this program. First of all, let me apologize. We were supposed to have this session last week, but due to some programs I had to attend, so I couldn't make it last week. So thank you once again, and also the organizers for giving me the opportunity to speak to my fellow young ones about building your CV. So, like you said, in today's digital age, CV building or you having a very good CV really counts a lot. And within the next few minutes, I'll be sharing with you how to build a good CV. Because from experience, I have spent about 4 years of my early career days working with a recruitment firm. That's Jobaman Ghana to be precise. And day in and day out, see the number of CVs coming in for each job application. And then you see the errors that are being committed by young graduates, even those with experience in the industry. And you ask yourself if they've ever attended such a program like what we are enjoying this morning. So without much ado, I'll share my screen and I'll take you through my presentation. So kindly confirm if you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
I can see your screen.
All right. All right. So like Komna said, my name is Amwakusian Adi. I'm an HR and a recruitment professional. Currently, I work with War Shoe Limited. War Shoe is a shoe manufacturing company based in Akosobo, where we do shoes for exports. And also, like I said earlier on, I've worked with Jobaman Ghana for about 4 years as a recruitment professional before I moved on to War Shoe. Now, before we go on, we cannot start our presentation without looking at what a CV is. And let me give a quote from one of my favorite mentors, that's in the person of Reverend Alberto Kran. He said, many young professionals approach the future like an articulator truck descending the steep hill with an inexperienced driver. Just picture yourself sitting in a car like this or a truck like this, descending a steep hill with an inexperienced driver and then a failed brake. What do you think will happen? I think your guess is as good as mine. You are going to land yourself in a very serious issue. And that is what I've also experienced from my years of experience working as a recruitment professional. Most people just throw in their CVs thinking, okay, once I have something on paper, it's going to sell me out. But that is not the case. There is a format and there are rules and guides that you need to take note of when you're writing a CV. Before then, a CV, when we say a CV, someone will ask, what is a CV? Now, a CV is a marketing tool that tells any potential employer who you are, your skills, your expertise, and what you can do. Now, bear in mind that day in and day out, we see so many jobs around and we show interest. You are not there in person to tell the employer that, oh, I am maybe Kwabna, so and so, I have this skill and I can do the job, and you tell the whole story. It doesn't work like that. You need to send in something. That's when the potential employer sees, will be like, okay, this is the kind of person that I'm looking for. So let me give the person an opportunity to come for an interview, to also throw more light on him or herself. And we can also, based on that, to assess the person's strength and proficiency for the job. So first of all, a CV is your marketing tool. And we know there's a distinction between what marketing is and then what sales is. Now, before any sale will go on, in this case, before any recruitment will go on, any hire will go on, you need to market yourself, and that is what your CV will do. So because you are not there in person, you need to make sure that what you have on paper sells you more. That will grant you the opportunity for an interview. So CV, as I said, is the marketing tool. There are various types of CV, but because of time, I'll focus briefly on this type, which I've highlighted below. One, we have the chronological CV. Now, this is the kind of CV that highlights your skills in a reverse chronological order. When I say a reverse chronological order, what I mean is it brings out your recent experience on top of the list, and then your past experience or maybe the older experience which you've had will go beneath it. So that is a reverse chronological CV. So that's first is the chronological CV. Now we have another CV we call the functional CV. Now this kind of CV also focuses only on your skills. And this kind of CV is mostly good for individuals who have just come out from school or fresh graduates. Because once you come out from school, most of you or most of us, you don't get a chance to do an internship service. So what you already have or what you're only bringing on board is your skills. So this kind of CV will highlight your skills and what you can bring on board to your potential employer. The other kind of CV we have is the hybrid. So just like the name sounds, it's just a combination of the chronological CV and also the functional CV. So this kind of CV focus on your experience and also your skills as an individual. Then we have the targeted CV. Some people call it a tailored CV they all mean the same. What is CV does is that, I'll be happy if we can use our microphones so that we can have a uniform meeting. Thank you very much. So what this targeted CV does is, hello, can you please mute your microphone? All right, let me continue. So as I was saying, the targeted CV is also known as a tailored CV. So this kind of CV is written for a specific job. Now, like I said earlier on, there are so many jobs that are being advertised on daily basis. If you take a graphic today, you get no less than 20 jobs which have been advertised. If you go to recruitment platforms like Jobama, LinkedIn, and other job boards, you get a lot of jobs which are requiring specific skills and specific experiences. Now, if you have this skill or this experience which the potential employer is requesting for, what you need to do is to write a targeted CV or a tailored CV to apply for that specific job. So in this case, you're not just going to send in any other CV, but you send a CV that matches exactly with what the job description is asking for. So most of the time we get people saying, oh, I've applied for so many jobs and I'm not getting even a call for an interview. Have you asked yourself whether you are doing the right thing? Are you writing a tailored CV for that job, or you are just throwing in one generic CV? Now you think, okay, this CV is going to get me the job that I want. It doesn't work like that. You can't use one generic CV to apply for 1,000 jobs. Even the jobs that have been advertised come with specific job description. So if you're also someone who wants to work or get that job, you need to also send in a specific CV. So these are the various types of CVs that we have. Let me continue. Now, one asks, what is a winning CV? So you can have a CV, but is your CV a winning CV? How then do you build a winning CV? A winning CV is a CV that one showcase your skills and makes you stand out from the crowd. From experience, each job application or each job that has been advertised receive no less than 200 applications. There are a lot of people who are chasing for that particular job which you're also looking out for. But what will make you stand out is you having a winning CV that showcase your skills and then your experience. If you are that individual who is standing out from the crowd, you are the one that will be called for an interview. Bear in mind that the CV doesn't guarantee you a job. A CV guarantees you the opportunity to be called for an interview. Then during the interview, you can showcase what you can do. So maybe on a later day, we will talk about maybe preparing for an interview and also how to present yourself during an interview. So one, as I said, a winning CV should showcase your skills. Now, what are some of these skills? We have both soft skills and hard skills. Now, the hard skills are those skills that, let me say, are technical. So for instance, if you are an accountant, your hard skills will be different from someone who is a doctor. So in this case, maybe as an accountant, some of the hard skills that you are supposed to get is maybe how to be able to use Excel for maybe analysis, how to be able to use QuickBooks and the like. These are some of the hard skills. But the soft skills are these skills that, let me say, there's communication skills, presentation skills, and the likes. And most of the time, these soft skills can be learned and they are taught. So if you are able to apply yourself through this process, you can learn all these soft skills. Secondly, a CV that is a winning CV should also highlight your strength and your achievements. If I pick a CV, about, let me see, 80% of the CV that you get for each job application, you will see, I was responsible for this, I was responsible for that, and a whole lot. It doesn't tell us what you've been able to achieve in your previous role. So if I'm an employer and I'm advertising for a job, and I see on your CV, okay, I was responsible for A, B, C, I was responsible for E, F, J. And then one person comes in and tells me that, okay, in the same position, I was able to achieve A, B, C, X, Y, Z. As an employer, or put yourself in the shoes of the employer, between these two people, who would you go for? Definitely to be the one that has shown the ability to do the job, not the one who is saying that, oh, I was responsible for that. And most of the time, because of this because of technology, someone can just go to a platform, copy job responsibilities for maybe a salesperson or a marketer and put on a CV. But once you're able to show that, okay, I was able to achieve X, Y, Z within this period of time, you are the go-to person, and the employer will be looking for you to speak to you, and that is going to grant you the opportunity for you to come for an interview. Then you can showcase what you can do more. Now, a winning CV also increases your chance of getting noticed by hiring managers and recruiters. Just like I said, if there are about 100 CVs, which I'm supposed to shortlist, and 80 of them are telling me we were doing A, B, C, and the likes, and the 20 tells me that we were able to do X, Y, Z, or we achieved maybe 20% increase in sales within a space of a year, definitely that is the guy that I'll be going out for. So a winning CV also increases your chance of getting noticed by hiring managers and also recruiters. Now, let's talk about CV essentials. If you are writing a CV, what are the things that you need to include on your CV? And here, most people sometimes get it wrong because they try to put everything about them on their CV. It's not supposed to be so. Just like we mentioned earlier on, one of the types of CV is the targeted CV or the tailored CV. You need to make sure that every CV that you are writing meets a particular requirement. It shouldn't be one CV that is meeting all jobs. No, there should be a CV that meets a particular requirement. So with CV essentials, the first thing that needs to come is your name as a person. Now, what I've realized about most people is that on top of the paper, they write curriculum vitae. Please, this is not accepted. Just start with your name. If you are going to design a CV, that's fine. But make sure you start with your name. Bring in the name, curriculum vitae. The whole document is a curriculum vitae. So it's just like you're repeating yourself. And that is even going to take more space on the paper. And you might even forget to bring in those essential things that you're supposed to bring on the CV. So your name is the first thing that you're supposed to bring. And funny enough, some people even forget to put their names on their CV, thinking that, oh, once I've saved the document with my name, that is all. No, you need to bring your name on it. Then your email, how we can reach out to you. So your email address and then your phone number. Now, your email address should be professional as possible. Like always, your email address should be professional. So if your name is, let's say, Amwakusianwadi, maybe Amwakusianwadi25@gmail.com, maybe George Biafe, maybe George Biafe at yahoomail.com. But if you try to, let me say, garnish it a bit, maybe your nickname, how do you call it? Pinky Baby at yahoo.com. Those things are not professional. Sexy Dondon at yahoo.com. Those things, once the person sees it, like, oh, what is this person trying to do? And just that can even throw you off. Remember, a lot of people have applied for the job. So the little thing that you do pisses off the recruiter or the hiring manager, and then the person will put your CV away. And by doing that, you are reducing your chances of being noticed and even getting a call for an interview. So take note of your email address. And your phone number. The phone number should also be on your CV. Always check if the number on your CV is accurate and it's up to 10. One thing I've also realized about most people is they have two numbers. So they have what we call the call number and then the WhatsApp number. My brother, my sister, put on your CV the number which we can always reach out to you, even if it is 11:59 p.m. Don't say this is my WhatsApp number, this is my call number. So what if you put on your CV your WhatsApp number and then we call and it's not coming through? Do I have to save your number, come to WhatsApp and call you before I can reach out to you? Bear in mind, you are competing with other people and there are a lot of applications that the job has received. So if you have to spend an extra 5 minutes or 10 minutes just to contact you, then remember you are shooting yourself in the foot. So kindly take note. The second thing is your professional summary. You as an individual, what summarize you or give us a brief about yourself. Maybe you're an experienced accountant with 5 years of working experience in the manufacturing and maybe retail industry. Just give a brief, summarize everything about yourself in a professional summary. And usually this professional summary should not be more than 5 lines. It should be a snapshot in such a way that if the person or any hiring manager or recruiter reads it, the person will get a fair idea of who you are. And based on that, the person will have interest in even going down your CV. In this digital era, just like Kwamna said, we don't spend too much time on CV. We have something we call an application tracking system. So if you apply for the job, usually you apply through via digital means. The CV will be sent to a pool. We run all the CVs through an ATS, and that's application tracking system. So if I'm looking for an accountant, I just type in accountant, and all people with accountant CV will pop up. So if you're an accountant, but you forgot to put on your CV an accountant, that means your CV will not even show. So we are reducing time in shortlisting for CVs. So make sure that you as much as possible, you give a professional summary about yourself, and then it includes some key highlights that is being requested in the job. So if the job is requesting for an accountant, say I'm an accountant with this number of years of experience, with this kind of skills. Once the person reads about it, the person gets interest and the person is more eager to know more about you. Now, your professional or key skills in the career that you are, or as maybe accountant or marketer or a salesperson, what are the key skills that you've been able to develop over the years? Let us see those skills. And these skills must be skills that are relevant to the job that you're applying. So this brings us to the point of always having in mind to send in a tailored or a targeted CV. Don't just be sending or using one generic CV to apply for all jobs. And you need to tweak the skills to meet each job requirement. So if the job requires someone with knowledge in QuickBooks, make sure on your CV, you have that on your CV. Because once it's been passed through the ATS and you don't have that, your CV will not be shortlisted and you'll not get a chance to be called for an interview. Another thing that is also required on an essential CV or a winning CV is your work experience and achievement. So maybe between 2022 and 2023, you worked as a marketer or an IT specialist with maybe company ABC. You indicate that, okay, the name of the company, let's say XYZ company, between this period, 2022, 2023, I was the IT specialist, or maybe I was the accountant, or I was a sales manager, or whatever it is. You bring it, then you indicate your achievement. Bear in mind that the job you are applying for has already brought out what they are looking out for, which is, or the duties, which is the job description. And in responding to the job description, you need to respond with your achievement in line with it. You get it? Because if you are going to put on your CV the same thing that the job is asking for, then what is the sense in even applying? Because they already know. But tell us what you have done or what you've achieved over the years. That will make you the ideal candidate for the job. And also bear in mind that each job application receives numerous CVs. And you need to be that person who stands out from the crowd to be able to get a chance for an interview. Now, your educational qualifications. Maybe you have an MBA in a particular study, an MBA in maybe marketing, an MBA in corporate governance, an MBA in finance. You indicate it, the school which you acquired that certificate from, and then the year you completed. Some people can school for 10 years. Someone can do this or MSc or MBA in 4 years. We don't care the duration which you did the course. What we are interested in the year you completed, because we want to be able to convince ourselves that you are done with the course and you possess the certificate. So telling us that you started in 2019 and you completed in 2022 doesn't make any difference. We are interested in seeing the year which you completed. We don't want to know that you did the MSc for 5 years. No, it doesn't add up to anything. So that is for the educational qualification. Then if you also have some training or workshop which you've attended, it's also a plus to put it on your CV. So that we'll know that beyond the classroom work, you've gone for some practical training or some lessons. And most of the time, these seminars and workshops give us practical experience of what is actually going on in the industry. So you need to also add it to your CV. Then you can also talk about your references. And here, most people will say, okay, my references are available upon request. Some will go on to indicate. Whichever way that you choose to do it, that is up to you. But to me, I will only recommend that if you are an experienced person, maybe you have about up to more than 10 years of experience, you can indicate on your CV that, okay, my references will be available upon request. In this case, we know that you are a top guy in the industry. So probably you've worked with a lot of people. So the company will ask, okay, we want to get a reference from this particular company in which you work with. Then you can provide. But if you're a young graduate, maybe 1 year, 2 years experience, you don't have much experience on your CV. So if you are going to say reference will be available for request, it's like, well, you are bragging on your CV, and it's not the best. Just go ahead. It can be your school lecturer, someone. Just bring the person's name, the person's contact details on the CV, and then we can contact him or her, and we will get what we want. And also, before you put anyone on your CV, make sure you've spoken to the person first to get their approval. Because, for instance, you've worked with someone about 3 years ago, you've moved on, the person might have forgotten about you. And maybe you don't even call the person, and you put the person's name on your CV. Like, we should reach out the person for a reference. We will call the person like, oh, who is this? Who is this guy you are talking about? I don't even know. You know, day in and day out, we meet a lot of people, and people sometimes do forget. So put the person's or call the person first. Let the person know that, okay, Mr. ABC or Mr. So and so, I am using your name as a reference on my CV. I'll be glad if maybe if you are being called, you give a good reference about me. When I was in Jobberman, there was this job I was filling for a client. We called the guy's reference. That was a pastor. So I was very optimistic, and I was very sure that, oh, this, because the guy has used a pastor on his CV, is going to give a reference about him because probably he's a church boy. Only for me to hear that, oh, he was a member of the church, but he did something wrong, so he was taken out from the church, and that was it. The guy forgot to take the pastor's name on the CV. And because of that particular reference, the guy didn't get a job. So kindly take note about that. Make sure you always call your reference before you put their names on the CV. Now, what are some of the tips for writing a winning CV? First, use clear and concise language. Sorry, I put on knowledge. Your language should be straight to point. There's not a time to go and use big grammar, big English somewhere. No. As much as possible, be concise and clear with what you are putting on your CV. Now, use action words. I was telling you earlier that if I see on a CV someone who has demonstrated achievements, I am eager to meet that person than someone who is telling me I was responsible for A, B, C, and so and so. And some of these action words we have managed. So if I see managed, that means you've had a number of people under you which you've been able to coordinate their activities to reach a target or to meet a goal. So yes, I managed maybe this project for this period. That is good. I coordinated, I spearheaded, I designed. Some of these action words shows us that, okay, you don't have just the rhetorics, but you have the in-depth knowledge of, or let me say, the practical experience of what we are looking at for. So as much as possible, try your best to put on your CV action words. Now, quantify your achievements. You need to quantify your achievement. Let us see numbers. I increased sales from 10% to 20% within 3 years. Bravo. I reduce costs, maybe from 100,000 Ghana cedis per quarter to, let me say, 3,000 Ghana cedis within a period of 4 months. Bravo. You are showing us that, yes, you've had practical experience of the job. Not someone who will say, I was responsible for maybe preparing budget and those kind of things. Quantify your achievement. Let us see numbers. Then it will show that you are the guy that we need for the job. Now, bullet your points and don't bring all the words together. As much as possible, let your CV be appealing. Bear in mind that you are not there. You've only sent in your CV. You are not there to defend yourself, or you're not there to try and explain yourself. So as much as possible, make sure your CV is clear, is well spaced, it paints a very good picture about you, and it's clear. Then based on that, we can say, okay, let us call this person for the interview. And sometimes it's not that you don't have the experience that the job is looking out for, but how you even present the CV shows you are not organized. You understand? So the CV tells us a lot about yourself, even before you come in. So as much as possible, try and be clear about it. And then proofread and edit clearly. You can go over it over and over before you submit. You can even give it to someone that, oh, my friend, kindly check for me to see if everything is okay. Then you are good to go. Then we look at the formatting and the design of the CV. As I've already indicated, use a clear and simple language and a layout. One thing I've realized about, especially the graphic designers, they design their CV in such a way that even if there's a mistake and you want to edit it for them, it becomes a work for you, the recruiter. They put in so many graphics and colors and a whole lot. It doesn't speak well. So please use a clear and a simple layout, preferably a Word document. If you want to encrypt, maybe do it a PDF, that is fine. Your name, your educational background, your working experience, your achievements, your workshop, everything on a page of paper, you are good to go. You get it. Now, you have to make your CV easy to read. You don't have to put all the words together. Make it easy to read and understand. And it also tells us a picture of who you are even before we see you. Sometimes you see a clumsy CV and you decide to take a chance with the person. Before the person comes to you, know that, but this guy is totally different from what the person is saying on the CV. And it is not always all the time that you get a chance to go and explain yourself. Unless maybe the recruiter is not getting the CV that he or she is looking out for, then he might want to take a chance. He or she might want to take a chance with you. You get it? So make your CV easy to read. Now choose a standard font. Arial, Calibri, these are all Word fonts. You can go there, check the one that is clear, and then you select one. Now, you keep your CV between 1 to 2 pages maximum. And this is where most people sometimes like, I have about 15 years of experience. So how do I keep it to 1 page? How do I keep it to 2 pages? There was this doctor in one of these private universities in Accra. He sent me his CV to work on it for him, and I saw this, I was like, wow, 24-page CV. And he was like, can you help me? It's okay, fine, I'll do my best. I did it to 2 pages, and it had the salient point that he needed. He was so happy. You get it? What we forget to do is that we don't try to do a tailored CV. You have experience in marketing, you have experience in sales. In this our economy, sometimes you even study accounting in school, you end up being a marketer. You study agric, you end up working in the bank. So we have so many experiences from various industries, and you're applying for a job in a particular industry. If the job is a marketing job, why don't you just highlight on your marketing skills and experiences just for the job, and forget about the accounting and forget about maybe the graphic design experiences? Because in this particular case, the job is, or the job you're applying for is a marketing job. So experience in accounting, experience in maybe graphic design, or experience in IT doesn't count. So you try to keep it maximum 2 pages. If you are a recent graduate, I'll even encourage you to just do a page so that it will be easy to read. Once we take it, we are good to go. All right, let's continue. Now, how do you tailor your CV? As I said, a tailored CV is a CV that is written in response to a particular job. First, tailor your CV for each job you apply. So don't use one generic CV for all jobs you apply. Like I said, if you have experience in marketing, sales, business development, finance, whatever it is, and then the job or the current job which you're applying for is a sales job, highlight more on your sales job. If it is finance, highlight more on your finance job. In this case, or in this instance, you'll be able to make your CV as concise as possible, maximum a page or 2. Then you are good to go. Now you have to use keywords from the job posting in the CV. I earlier on mentioned that nowadays, because of technology, you won't see a recruiter having paper CVs in front of him or her, going through one after the other. No. If you are working in my former company, where in a week you're supposed to fill about 15 jobs, you won't spend about 30 minutes even going through about 100 CVs. No. We use an ATS. So you apply on a platform, the CVs go to the ATS. We just use keywords. And these are the keywords that are on the job description. So if you are not using that same keywords on the job description on your CV, that means when we pass the CV through the ATS, your CV will not come out. And it will be like, why do I keep on applying for jobs and I'm not getting a chance for an interview? Because you're not doing the right thing. So make sure you use keywords from the job posting in your CV. The third point in writing a tailored CV is to emphasize on your relevant skills and experiences. Just like I said, each job comes with specific requirements that you are supposed to respond to. So make sure you emphasize. I'm placing more emphasis on the word emphasize. Emphasize on your relevant skills and your experience. So there are some skills which you have, which might not be necessary or might not be relevant for the job in which you're applying now. Don't bring that on your CV, but rather emphasize on the relevant skills and experience, which is in response to the job which you're applying for. And finally, to be able to write a tailored CV, use a language from the job posting in your CV. So if you go to LinkedIn and you see a job, make sure the languages or the words in which you are having in the job description, you have some on your CV. It doesn't mean go and lie on your CV. No, I'm not saying go and lie. But what I realized is that it is not that you don't know what you're about, but it's because you don't know how to put it or you don't know how to write it on your CV. And because you won't always get a chance to go and prove yourself, make sure you marry what is on the job description with what is on your CV. Then you can increase your chances of being called for an interview, and then in response to that, you are writing a tailored CV. Now, the final tips in writing a tailored CV, or final tips on building a winning CV. You may have to ask for feedback from your friends, family, and then maybe career counselors. And I'll advise that each and everyone here gets a career counselor, because some of us, if we were fortunate to have someone who would our hand that, okay, this is what I've identified in you, and I'm able to help you, or I'll be able to help you through it, would have been even ahead of what we are currently doing. So as much as possible, try and get feedback, especially from your career counselors, because a friend might have the same understanding, just like you. I might not be able to give you the kind of expertise or expert advice that you need. So a career counselor will always be the best person to get a feedback from. So get one, discuss with the person, this is what I'm doing. Let the person guide you through the process. And then I'm sure you're able to go a long way. Now, keep your CV updated and review it regularly. This is something that most of us we fall short of. I have one CV. That's the CV the person will use for the next 2 years. Meanwhile, you've maybe gone for a workshop, even today's workshop, which you've attended. You can even add it to your CV. I attended a CV building workshop. Keep on updating your CV. At least every 3 months, you need to update your CV. Visit the CV again, go through it. Okay, what can I change? What can I do better? Review it, improve upon it. Because things change on daily basis. So if you keep yourself in the past, we will all develop and then we'll leave you behind. And then you will tell us that you are not getting the job. Meanwhile, the jobs are there. It's surprising how sometimes recruiters and hiring managers have to go the extra mile to get CVs for job roles. Meanwhile, the same people that we have are saying that there are no jobs. So the question comes, what are you not doing right? Either we don't have the relevant skills or we don't have the relevant experience, or we just want to take chances with our faith. It doesn't work like that. So let's keep on keeping our CVs updated and reviewing them regularly. Now use your CV as a tool to showcase your skills and achievements. Just like I said, make sure you have the necessary skills and then experience on your CV. And keep on improving yourself. Don't remain at one place. Now that there are free courses on Google, Udemy, Corporate Finance Institute, a lot of them. You can go there, sign up for a free program, maybe learn something about bookkeeping, maybe learn something about Excel, learn something about maybe Power BI. Just improve yourself, okay? So that you can keep on adding these skills on your CV. Let me tell you this. If your potential employer doesn't find you attractive now, they won't find you attractive in maybe a year or two to come, because you are not bringing in something new. Unless you've gone to improve upon yourself and then you are coming to tell them that, okay, now I have gone for this kind of training and I can do X, Y, Z. You understand? So keep on improving yourself, take up courses, sometimes volunteer to gain experience. As young graduates, let's volunteer to gain experience. That is what I did way back in students. It's really helped. Volunteer to get experience, and then definitely you won't be paid, but you'll get an experience at the end of the day. Then you can, based on that experience, to go and look for the job that will be paying you the 5-day gate numbers which you want to get. Now, know how to sell yourself. And this is a whole topic that maybe in future we can talk about. Know how to sell yourself. As I keep on saying, it's not that we don't know, but we don't know how to say it, or we don't know how to prove it. So know how to sell yourself, and based on what you say or how you sell yourself, that's how you'll be bought. You understand? So if you sell yourself short, you'll be bought short. But if you sell yourself better, you'll be bought better. I think 2 days ago, I was having a chat with one of my colleagues at the workplace, and he was asking me if I've done sales before. And I said, yes, I've done sales with Data Bank for 2 years. And we're like, hey, with who? And I mentioned the former head of sales for Data Bank, that's Abeku. So you're like, oh, you know Abeku? He said, yeah, I know Abeku. I work with him. So wow. And these were the periods that we were doing free jobs. You get it? But because we knew what we wanted at the end of the day, we sacrificed ourselves to go through the process. So you know how to sell yourself, and then based on that, you know how to be bought. So thank you very much for your attention. I think I'm hoping I work within time. Now leave the floor for some questions and then answers. Thank you very much.
Okay, please, I have a question. So you mentioned earlier on that about the reference. So I want to ask, can a family member be a reference on a CV? So probably when to work with a company and maybe an uncle and aunt is like one of the heads over there. So can you use the person as a reference?
Yes, the uncle or auntie who is in that company can be a reference. The most important thing is that the person will be able to give a good reference about you. But if I have to choose between a relative and a neutral person, I'll choose the neutral person than the relative. So it's not bad to have a family member be your reference. Me, for instance, my first CV I wrote, my uncle was my reference because then I had no experience. That's when I completed the teachers. I had no experience. So my uncle was my referee and he was able to give a good reference about me. But moving forward, when I started working and I gained some experience and some working relationship with my previous bosses, I changed and I used my previous bosses instead. Because if your previous boss gives a reference about you, it carries more weight than a family member. Because it is likely that that family member will try to hide certain things just to give you a good name. But the former worker, because he or she has worked with you before, they'll be able to tell out your flaws and your strength, and that'll give you more weight than a family member.
Okay,
I hope
thank you.
you got it. All right,
Yes,
you're welcome. All right, any other question from
Yeah,
the
hello.
hello?
Yeah, thank you very much for the insightful presentation. Please, my question is, should a CV be a living document from what you've said?
Kindly come again.
My question is, should a CV be a living document
A
from all
living
that you've
document.
said? Yeah, so you keep on editing, making changes, and all of that.
Exactly. If you are
Okay,
not living, you are
thank
dead.
you.
So
Thank
you
you.
need to have a living CV. I like the way you are a living CV. So make sure the CV is growing. Yes. Anyone who lives grows. If you are not living, you are dead.
Please, I have a question.
All right, please go.
Okay, so you made mention that in writing a CV, the number of pages should be, the maximum should be 2 pages. It should be well structured and organized. I spoke about the professional summary and giving the reference. So what if I don't give a professional summary and I don't give a reference just because I want to limit my CV to 1 page? Is that acceptable? And the reason I'm asking this question is because, okay, so recently, so I want to apply for a job and they are requesting for a cover letter and a CV. And I figured, okay, instead of putting the professional summary in my CV, I can actually put it in the cover letter just to limit the number of pages. So does that work? And also with the email on the CV, can the email be in the form of a link so the employee or hiring agents can get easy access to the email? Please, do you get my questions?
Yes, I got you. So I'll take the first one where you said because you want to keep your CV like a page or two, you want to ignore the professional summary. In my presentation, I mentioned that it is one of the key things that you need to bring on your CV, and it should not exceed 5 lines. That is maximum. So if you can bring out the professional summary in 2 lines, that is okay. What you need to focus on is that down the line, when you are talking about your working experiences, quantify your achievements instead. So you can maybe one key achievement of what you did in your previous workplace will be enough. You understand? Because I know some of the jobs, they specifically say your CV should not exceed a page. And even with the size, it shouldn't exceed maybe a particular megabyte. And you need to check all these things. So don't be in a haste to say, okay, because I need to reduce it to a page, I won't bring out the key essentials. They are all necessary. Because if the person takes your CV, they'll want to read something brief about you. And Obiape, how do you call it? Easy way out. So if I read your professional summary and it gives me a picture of who you are and I'm interested, I'll go on. So imagine if you don't have the professional summary on your CV, I now have to take time to go down the CV to go and look out for what I'm looking out for. And maybe you might not be fortunate. The person will not have time to do that. You get it? So, as much as you want to reduce it to a page or two, make sure that you bring out the key essentials. But instead of writing so many words down the line as maybe your duties and achievements, you can quantify it in maybe 1 bullet point, 2 bullet points, and then you make sure it is in response to the job which you're applying for. So in this case, the tailored CV comes in. With the email, you're asking if you can make it a link. I don't really get how you mean. Is it a link to maybe a Gmail or a Yahoo, or maybe or how do you mean by that?
A link to your Gmail. So let's say you type your email in your CV and you decide to make it a hyperlink. So
Okay.
that, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. So when the hiring agent taps on it, it leads the person directly to your email address. Like to
No,
your
if
email.
the person taps on it, it won't link the person to your email. It will rather link the person to the email platform. So if I'm using Gmail and you also use Gmail, and because you have a hyperlink on your CV, once I click on it, it will take me to Gmail. Then I can add whatever I want to add, maybe the content I want to put in there. You get it? So
Alright.
it's not bad. It's not bad, but it won't link the person to your email. It could be that even the email which you've inserted a hyperlink is wrong. So it will still lead the person to a wrong destination. You understand what I'm saying? So the most important thing is that making sure that the email which you've provided there is correct. You can decide to add in your hyperlink, but it doesn't make any difference. Make sure it is just correct. Please, I hope you understand. You are welcome.
Yes, please, I do.
Okay. Is any more question? If there's none, then maybe
Yes, please. Another question.
All right.
So it's in a chat box. So the person said, what do you do if you have no work experience, but still want to have a CV?
If you have no working experience, you still want to get a CV, that's you have to throw more light on your skills, what you can do as an individual. And in this case, I would say I will encourage anyone who goes to any tertiary institution, before you come out, make sure that at least you have a year experience. It's a crime. To me, it's a crime to go to a tertiary institution and come out with no working experience. I think one thing I will always praise my former school for, that's UPSA, is that they make it compulsory for you to do an internship. So even before you come out, you have at least a year experience. So if you don't have any working experience, just throw more light on your skills. Demonstrate on your CV what you can do with your skills. Maybe based on that, the potential employer will call you and engage you further on that. Let me give you an example. I said when I first completed senior high school, I wanted to do teaching. Then I had no working experience, just like you said. So what I did was I only stressed on my skills, what I can do. Maybe I can present, I can teach, I can coordinate a class. So when the proprietor or the director of the school saw it, and then he wanted to take a chance with me, he called me for an interview. And during the interview, I was able to prove to him that, yes, what I have on my CV is actually what I can do. But if you have it on your CV and then you can't even prove yourself, there's no point in having it there. So if you don't have any working experience, just throw more light on your skills. That would be very good. Okay. I have a hand up. T.E.I Education, Educational Initiative.
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. Sorry, good morning. Okay, good afternoon. Maybe the time zone.
Hi, this is Constance. So I've heard something like elevator pitch, which is a summary of who you are. So I wanted to ask the key things that you should include in your elevator pitch in case you meet someone who is a recruiter, or you are interested in the person, working with the person. How will you introduce yourself in maybe 5 minutes? The key
Constance.
elements.
Okay, Constance. First, for the purpose of education, elevator pitch is the same as your USP, as your unique selling proposition. And I doubt someone will say, give me your USP in 5 minutes. It's too long a time. Usually it's like a minute or two. So what do you need to know or to do with your elevator pitch is still your skills. You get it? Our world has gotten to the point where now machines and robots can do most of the jobs which we are currently doing. What makes you different from the machine or robot is your skill. Most importantly, your soft skills. So anyone who asks of your elevator pitch or your unique selling position wants to find out mostly about your soft skills, what you can do with even the technical skills which you've gained from school or maybe from your working experience. So keep it brief. Make sure it's throw more light on your soft skills in particular, because the hard skills now the machines are doing it. You understand? So throw more light on your soft skills instead in your elevator pitch. And you should rehearse it in such a way that even when you are asleep and then you are being called all of a sudden to say it, with me, you say it with all confidence. And it shouldn't look like you've rehearsed it, but you should show some kind of confidence and some professionalism in that too. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yes, please. And also, what are some of the soft skills you can list?
Soft skills now, they're necessary, or maybe okay, to me, what I've realized is that one, we are looking for people with high emotional intelligence. A machine doesn't have an emotional intelligence. So emotional intelligence, communication, presentation, negotiation. You understand? If I can send a machine or a robot to go and negotiate a deal on my behalf, you get, because the machine doesn't have that kind of knowledge for that. But I can send a human being to go and negotiate that for my behalf. So these are some of the key things that you need to know. There are a lot of them on the internet. You can read about them, and you can also learn them. I think some time ago, Javaman was doing soft skill training for some people. Can take advantage of some of these opportunities, and then you learn more about it.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Malcolm.
You are welcome. Please, any other question? I've done almost like an hour now. Okay. Any other?
Yes, please.
Okay, please go ahead.
Please, can someone's interest be included in a CV?
All right. Thank you very much. So that is one thing that people do. They bring their interests. It is a no. I'll tell you outright. It is a no to have your interest on your CV. What has the interest got to do with the job? That's the first question you need to ask yourself. Few minutes ago, we were talking about how to even reduce everything to a page, maybe based on requirements. So that interest which you want to put on the CV is even going to take space. Someone will say, well, I like watching movies, I like traveling. It has nothing to do with the job in which you're applying for. If it does, fine, you can be, but if it doesn't, no. Something like your date of birth, where you were born, your hometown, the number of children you have, if you are married, those things are not necessary. Keep it simple, keep it short to the most important thing. So if you want to know if you are doing the right thing, just look at the job description. Is the job description asking for you to bring your interest on a CV? If it doesn't, then leave it out. Is the JD asking you to show if you are married or not? If it doesn't, just leave it out. Because sometimes people make decisions based on some of the things they see on your CV. Maybe the job requires someone to travel a lot of the time, most of the time. But on your CV, you've indicated that you are married. Maybe you have one child who is just like maybe a year old. No employer would like to raise that. That want to have someone who is maybe married with one baby, and then you want to ask the person to travel to maybe a far place to go and do something for you, the person will use the child as an excuse. They don't want to do that. You get it? So to be in a safer place, don't bring those things in. Get the chance to go to the interview first. Based on what you say, maybe based on the discussion in which that goes on in the interview, they can even overlook whether you have a child or you are married or something. You get it? But if you are not there in person and your CV is just with them, and then you've indicated on the CV that you are married, you have a child, or you have this kind of interest, it's easy for them to make the decision that, okay, we don't want you. They put you out and you didn't get a chance for the interview. But the goal of the CV is to get a chance for the interview, to prove yourself. That is the main thing that the CV does. So, like I said, look at the JD. If it requires you to bring on your CV those things, and if it doesn't, just leave it out. Kamna, I hope you understand.
Yes, please. And one more.
Okay.
Please, can we send our CVs to you for review?
Okay, what I'll do is I will liaise with the organizers probably, and then we'll see how we can go about that.
Okay, thank you very much. And someone is also asking, please, can we have a sample of the CV?
Okay, so I intentionally didn't bring a sample of CV to show you because I don't want to limit you to just one template. What I realized is that if I give you this, everyone will copy from it, and it's not the best. So you can just go online, search CVs, and just use the key essential which I gave you as a guide to make sure or to check if what you are having is the right one. If I give you this sample, I can give you a sample, but the risk is that everyone will try to copy from it. That is the standard, right? It's not, we don't have one standard CV throughout. The most important thing is having the key essentials on it and keeping it simple at all times.
Okay, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Please, if there are
Someone
no,
is asking to have the PDF of the, yeah, I'll share the slides with Constance, and then she will intend share it with you. All right.
okay, please, if there are no further questions, thank you very much, Mr. Adi, for this insight you've given to us and sharing your
You're welcome.
expertise with us.
All right, you're welcome. Okay.